Love him or hate him, but he ain't nice. Good morning, St. Peter's. We're looking at Revelation chapter 3, verses 14 to 22, the letter to Laodicea. We've been through the 7 churches and we've seen the 7 marks of the church. Things like the church to be marked by truth, by love, by suffering, by perseverance, by reality. The church is to be marked by witness. And this morning the church is to be marked by passion or devotion. A church is to be marked by devotion. They are to love Jesus, to worship him, and to show devotion. When I was a kid, or a younger kid, I remember there was a girl in my school. I can't even remember who this person is now, but I remember someone said to her, what do you think of Brian? And I overheard her speaking about me, and she said, he's kind of nice. Oh, Brian, yeah, he's a nice guy. And I remember thinking, oh, that's no good. She thinks I'm nice. I wanted her to love me, I wanted her to like me, but she just thought I was nice. Many people think of Jesus perhaps as a teacher, or as someone as nice, someone who is always lovely. Listen to what Nick Cave says on the book of Mark. I'll quote him. He talks about what he thought of Jesus. Listen to this. He talks about his childhood. One day, I met an Anglican minister, and he suggested I give the Old Testament a rest and read Mark instead. He was encouraged to read the Gospel of Mark. And Nick Cave says, I hadn't read the New Testament at that stage because the New Testament was about Jesus Christ. And the Christ that I remembered from my days, choir boy days at church, was that wet, all-loving, etiolated individual that the church proselytized. I don't know what etiolated means, but you can look that up. But Nick was saying that he just knew Jesus as this wimpy, kind of nice guy, soft guy. Well, Jesus has a word to say to the church of Laodicea, and he says this: you are neither hot nor cold. I wish you were cold or hot. Because you're lukewarm, I'm going to vomit you out of my mouth. It's a pretty severe call. But basically, Jesus is saying, you can love me, you can hate me, but I'm not nice. And he's saying that we are to be a church that is marked by devotion to Jesus. The church in Laodicea, the issue at the heart of Laodicea was they were a church that were fairly self-sufficient. It speaks about them having purple cloth and them having ointment and so on. They were a place that was fairly rich by standards of thousands of years ago, because they made their own purple cloth. They made a particular ointment that was a particular medical use that was really well known and wanted. And a lot of them were fairly self-sufficient. And Jesus says, you are to be a church that's to be marked by devotion to me. You're kind of wishy-washy. But he says you're actually to be a church that loves me and is devoted to me. Now, what is a picture of devotion to Jesus? Well, in the Gospels, we see that woman who comes to Jesus, and she takes the most expensive thing she has, which is a jar full of this perfume called nard, thousands and thousands of dollars worth of expensive perfume, and she breaks the jar and pours it all over his feet. And we have a picture there of someone who is totally devoted to Jesus. That which was most worthy to her, she was willing to give up in order to live for Jesus and to be devoted to him. The church at Laodicea are fairly self-sufficient, and they're being called to stop being wishy-washy, but to love Jesus and to be devoted to him in acts of service to him. And the call for Jesus is to say this morning: Jesus isn't just a teacher. He is the Christ and the King. You can't really think that Jesus is nice. When you look at Jesus in the Gospels and you read about him, you either love him or you hate him. People in the Gospels that meet Jesus all along, all the different characters, all of them have 2 reactions to him. They either want to get away from him, and they say, keep away from us, or I don't want to know you, or they say, get closer to me. I love you and I want to know you more. Where are you? What is your church like? It is to be a church that is marked by passion and by devotion to Jesus. See you tomorrow.